Ever pondered over what the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are and why they hold such significance? Well, let's dive in. The Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are the two pillars of the Indian Parliament, forming the bicameral legislature of the country. The Lok Sabha, also known as the House of the People, is the lower house. On the other hand, the Rajya Sabha, or the Council of States, is the upper house. Together they play an indispensable role in the Indian democratic system, shaping the country's laws and policies. Their composition and functions are guided by the Indian Constitution, ensuring a balance of power and representation from all corners of India. They serve as the voice of the people and the states respectively, deliberating matters of national and regional importance. Without these two houses, the Indian democratic system wouldn't function as smoothly as it does. The formation of the Lok Sabha isn't as simple as it seems. It's a process steeped in democratic principles, involving millions of citizens of India. First, let's delve into the election process. Members of the Lok Sabha, also known as the House of the People, are elected directly by the people of India. India, being the vast country it is divided into different constituencies. Each of these constituencies elects one representative who then becomes a member of the Lok Sabha. This process is called the general elections, which take place every 5 years. The party or coalition that has a majority of seats forms the government. Now you might be thinking, can anyone become a member of the Lok Sabha? Well, there are certain eligibility criteria. The candidate must be an Indian citizen and not less than 25 years of age. They should not hold any office of profit under the government of India or the government of any state. They should also not be of unsound mind, undischarged insolvent, or not declared criminal by any court of law. Finally, let's talk about the term of the Lok Sabha. Once formed, the Lok Sabha continues for 5 years from the date appointed for its first meeting. However, the President of India has the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha before the completion of its term. This usually happens when the ruling party or coalition loses the majority, leading to a political crisis. The President can then call for new elections to form a new Lok Sabha. So the Lok Sabha is truly democratic in nature. It's a house that represents the people of India, formed by the people through their votes, and works for the welfare of the people. It is an embodiment of the democratic spirit of the Indian Constitution. So the Lok Sabha is a house of the people, by the people, and for the people. The Lok Sabha doesn't just exist, it performs crucial functions. And these functions are what we're about to delve into, so let's dive right in. The Lok Sabha, often referred to as the House of the People, operates on 4 primary pillars: lawmaking, control over the executive, financial control, and constituent functions. Firstly, the Lok Sabha plays a pivotal role in the lawmaking process. It's where most of the legislation in the country begins. Members of the Lok Sabha introduce bills, debate on them, and pass them. Once a bill has been passed by the Lok Sabha, it's sent to the Rajya Sabha for approval. The Lok Sabha, having more members than the Rajya Sabha, often holds a decisive role in the lawmaking process. Secondly, the Lok Sabha has the power to control the executive. The executive branch of the government, including the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. This means that they must retain the confidence of the majority of the Lok Sabha members. If they fail to do so, they risk losing their positions. This control ensures a system of checks and balances, maintaining a democratic governance structure. Thirdly, the Lok Sabha holds the purse strings of the nation, exerting financial control. It's the Lok Sabha that grants the government the permission to collect taxes and spend money. The annual budget of the country is presented first in the Lok Sabha. If the Lok Sabha rejects a money bill, it cannot be enacted into law, giving the Lok Sabha a significant say in the fiscal matters of the nation. Lastly, the Lok Sabha performs constituent functions. This means it has the power to amend the constitution, a task it can undertake in collaboration with the Rajya Sabha. In essence, the Lok Sabha plays a critical role in shaping the path of the nation. It's a forum for discussion, a crucible for laws, and a watchdog for the executive. The Lok Sabha essentially keeps the wheels of the nation turning. The Rajya Sabha, unlike the Lok Sabha, has a unique formation process. The Rajya Sabha, or the Council of States, is the upper house of the Parliament of India, and its formation presents a fascinating process that is distinct from the Lok Sabha, or lower house. The Rajya Sabha is not subject to dissolution like the Lok Sabha. Rather, it's a perpetual body with 1/3 of its members retiring every 2 years, ensuring continuity of the House. The total sanctioned strength of the Rajya Sabha is 250 members. Out of these, 238 members represent the states and union territories, and they are elected by the elected members of the Legislative Assembly of the state and by the members of the Electoral College for that union territory, as the case may be. The remaining 12 members are nominated by the President of India from amongst people who have special knowledge or practical experience in fields such as literature, science, art and social service. Now, let's talk about who can become a member of the Rajya Sabha. A person to be qualified for the election as a member of the Rajya Sabha must be a citizen of India, not less than 30 years of age, and must be registered as an elector for a parliamentary constituency. And what about the term of the Rajya Sabha? Well, the term of office of a member of the Rajya Sabha is 6 years. As mentioned earlier, 1/3 of the members retire every 2 years. A member who is elected in a by-election serves for the remainder of the term of the member who resigned or died or was disqualified to be a member of the House. So, the formation of the Rajya Sabha is a complex yet intriguing process. It's a house that brings together representatives from across India's vast landscape, ensuring that the voices of every state and union territory are heard at the federal level. The Rajya Sabha, thus, represents the states of India at the federal level. The Rajya Sabha plays a pivotal role in the Indian democratic system. Its functions extend beyond the mere rubber stamping of legislation. It is a critical institution that balances the legislative process and ensures the representation of diverse interests. One of the primary functions of the Rajya Sabha is lawmaking. Along with the Lok Sabha, it's responsible for the passage of laws that govern the country. Bills can be introduced in either house except for money bills, which are exclusive to the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha has the power to discuss, debate, and suggest amendments to these bills. The Rajya Sabha also plays a significant role in moderating the legislative process. It acts as a second thought, a house of review. It's designed to take a more measured and considered approach to legislation. The members of the Rajya Sabha, not being directly elected by the public, are often able to take a longer-term view of issues, free from the immediate pressures of electoral politics. This allows for a more in-depth examination of bills and helps prevent hasty or ill-considered legislation. Another essential function of the Rajya Sabha is acting as a revising chamber. It meticulously scrutinizes the bills passed by the Lok Sabha. It can suggest amendments, modifications, and improvements to ensure that the laws are just and fair. However, it cannot veto a bill outright. It can only delay its passage for a maximum of 6 months. The Rajya Sabha also represents the interests of the states and union territories in the federal structure of India. It ensures that the interests of regions that might not have substantial representation in the Lok Sabha are still considered in the lawmaking process. The Rajya Sabha, thus, is more than just a legislative body. It is a guardian of the state's rights, a moderator in the legislative process, and a revising chamber that ensures the quality of our laws. The Rajya Sabha acts as a check and balance to the powers of the Lok Sabha. So the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are the two pillars that uphold Indian democracy. We have journeyed through the formation of these two houses, understanding their unique roles in the legislative system. The Lok Sabha, also known as the House of the People, is the lower house where representatives are directly elected by the people. Its key functions include lawmaking, controlling public expenditure, and scrutinizing government activities. On the other hand, the Rajya Sabha, or the Council of States, is the upper house, representing the states and union territories. Its functions complement those of the Lok Sabha, including reviewing bills and contributing to legislation, but with a distinct emphasis on representing the interests of the states. In essence, the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha work together to ensure the smooth functioning of our democracy, each with its own unique responsibilities and powers. Remember, without the